also, what was the point in showing her doing jujitsu in the first episode if she wasn't going to use it for the rest of the show? She was so incompetent, and when it came to encounters with enemies or infected, she couldn't even fucking handle a fight. In behind-the-scene footage, there was so many clips of Bella Ramsey training for fight scenes, like choreographed fight scenes, and they didn't use any of that in the show. There's actually the poster for season 2. The original poster had Ellie with the rifle, and then they revised the poster and they republished it without the rifle. She's just holding her backpack, and I'm just it's ridiculous. Like, why even bother having the scene with Seth giving Ellie the rifle if she didn't use the rifle the entire time that she was in Seattle? It's such a small detail, but one thing that really, really bothered me in season 1 was the fact that they omitted the spores from the show. And the reasoning behind it was so stupid. Like, Craig's reasoning for getting rid of the spores was that in real life, fungal spores are everywhere at all times. And if there were a mutated version of cordyceps that infected humans, then everybody would be infected. I don't understand, like, it logically speaking, yes. Like, if you're thinking in realistic terms, yes, that is true. That's a very logical way of thinking. But we're talking about a fictional show with mushroom-faced infected zombies. I think the suspension of belief has already been set. I don't think having spores would have, like, it wouldn't have made people go like, oh yeah, this is so fake. To add on to that, the other reason that they wanted to take out the spores from the show was that, considering that spores are everywhere all the time, in a realistic world, that would mean that they would be wearing masks constantly to avoid infection. And they wanted to avoid hiding the actors behind masks for long periods of time. Just like how in The Mandalorian, Pedro Pascal's face was famously covered, so he had already done a show where he covered his face all the time. They didn't want to do that again. And both Craig and Neil argued that in a TV show, it is crucial to see the actors' faces to convey emotion, and having actors constantly wearing gas masks would hinder that. I just think that's such a stupid take. Like I said, it's a fictional show, and in the game, they're not everywhere. The spores, they tend to accumulate in certain areas, and when you do encounter them, you're only wearing them for a short period of time until you leave the area with spores. So in a show, they would have worn the mask for 2 minutes? I really don't think it would have taken too much screen time. I think the perfect opportunity to introduce the spores in season 1 was in the first episode, where Joel and Tess were trying to find Robert and the car battery, and they run into the fireflies, but just before they meet up with Marlene, they see this old dead clicker stuck on a wall, and I just feel like that was the perfect opportunity to show the spores, because it's in a very similar way how the spores were revealed in the game. It looked too similar, and I feel like, why didn't they just add it right there? They could have just put their masks on for that whole scene. I don't know. I think it was a stupid decision to get rid of the spores. And then you give the whole tendril, then fungal network tendril. I wasn't that big of a fan of that. I would have been fine with just the spores. I still think the spores are a much better approach to how the infected spreads. In a way, the spores are creepy in a sense, because it's a more sinister way of getting infected, because breathing in spores is cause for infection, so you have to be conscious of dark, damp areas. 'Cause in the video game, the spores aren't just floating around everywhere. They tend to accumulate in places like dark, humid, damp places where there's no sunlight and where there's lots of infected. So out and about in the sun, you won't see them. but you turn a corner, a dark corner, inside a dilapidated building or something. Yeah, and you're always carrying a mask with you in your backpack. And so when you do see spores, a character puts the mask on automatically. It may seem like a trivial thing, like it's just spores, get over it. But you have to understand that the spores play a big role in Ellie's immunity. Like any time her immunity is revealed, it involved spores. For example, when Joel first found out about Ellie's bite, he didn't believe that it was real. He just assumed that she was infected. He didn't start to believe in her immunity until he saw her breathing in spores.
Get down.
No target. I repeat, no target.
There's a soldier over there.
Hold your position and wait for reinforcements.
Copy that.
How the hell are you breathing in this stuff?
I wasn't lying to you.
When it comes to Dina, Ellie told Dina, but she didn't believe her. And so when the time comes and Ellie's mask breaks and Dina's like, holy shit, your mask is broken. Like, here, share mine. She's like, don't take off your mask. And she's breathing in the spores. It's like, again, the spores are there to show how she's immune to it. And then there's the scene with Nora, and Nora sees Ellie breathing in the spores.
Where's Abby?
You're breathing spores. You're her.
Like every time her immunity is revealed, it involves spores, not bite marks, spores. Also, how many times did she get bit in the show? Like she was just getting bit again and again and again. It was getting ridiculous. I didn't even bother to count. It was so many times. I'm gonna have to count in editing because that was fucking ridiculous, and how often she was just getting bit and bit. She got bit twice in season 1, and then she got bit I don't know how many times in season 2. And then they play off the spores like if it's an evolution of the infected, when in the video games, they were already part of that world. Like they are in the first game. And it's one of the first things you notice. You go down, you're with Tess, and you see this dude on the floor, and has a broken mask, and you're wearing a mask, you know what they are. They're an established part of the game. It's not like an evolution thing. It's already there. It's part of the world. So the fact that they used it as like a plot device, as an evolution for infected, I wasn't a fan of that. Is it clever in terms of like story television shit? I guess, but I don't know. I've seen reaction videos of people who never played the game and they watch the show, and then they go and play the game and they go like, oh, but where is the smart infected? What, I thought it was supposed to evolve. And I'm like, that's the stupid invention of the show. That's not how it's like in the game. Like the smart infected, the stalkers, they're in the first game, and they didn't introduce them until the second season, which makes no sense because I feel like the flashback scene where they show Ellie getting bit, that was a fucking stalker. In the game, she was bit by a runner. And in the show, it looks like a stalker. So why was she surprised when she saw a stalker in season 2? It's like, you seen those, bitch. You were bitten by one. I don't know. I don't like how they approach this in the show at all. Stalkers, there's a reason they're called stalkers, because they're sneaky, they hide from you, they taunt you, they push you, they run off, and they're really hard to see. The video game has this thing called listening mode, so you can crouch down and kind of listen, and you can kind of see where your enemies are at. And stalkers are notorious for not being visible in listening mode. You can't see them. So they could be lurking anywhere and you don't know where the fuck they are. So the most intelligent approach to killing a stalker is to also being witty and sneaky and smart with them. So laying traps, throwing Molotovs, sneaking up on them is honestly, it feels impossible. Like you can't. You try rushing onto them and they're going to run away. They sneak off, they hide, they crouch. They're annoying. They are literally the most annoying form of infected in the game, and I absolutely hate them. Oh my god. Stalkers. Fuck. I hate those. And you can't even see them with the...
Quiet.
Yeah, no shit. God damn it, this bitch. Fucking bitch is smart. He waits until I'm not aiming anymore. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. That one was stubborn as fuck. In that regard, they did a good job at representing them in the show, but the fact that they're playing it as a like, oh, this one was smart. I think they're evolving. I'm not a fan of that. They should have introduced all of that shit in season 1. The show's explicit on so many other things. You know, they overuse exposition. They exposit everything else except for the actual name and categories of the infected. Like, you don't even find out what a clicker is called until, episode 5 of season 1, where Henry calls it a clicker. He's like, oh, you saw a clicker. Why weren't...
Or one of those blind ones that sees like a bat?
Wait, you ran into a clicker?
2 of them.
And you're still alive?
Yeah, and then when the bloater comes out, no one refers to it as a bloater. No one explains that. And then in season 2, they didn't even introduce Shambler. The Shambler is a new infected in the second game that you don't encounter until you reach Seattle. And it's both new to you as the gamer and Ellie and Dina. Like, when you first encounter, they're like, what the hell is that? I've never seen that kind of infected. It's different.
Ugh. Fuck these assholes. Did they get you? No, I'm clean. Shamblers? Is that what they called them? Yeah. Where the hell do shamblers come from? I don't fucking know. But they're disgusting.
I got him. That's the first shambler I killed. Damn. Yuck. Those things are gross. So I was kind of expecting to see it in season 2, and when they didn't show it, I was like, why? You're introducing a stalker, which should have been introduced in season 1, but you're not introducing a shambler. That confused me, and it bummed me. I wanted to see a shambler. I did not like Jesse in the show, and I feel like there's a lot of people who defend Jesse in the show. They go like, well, he was the only reasonable character. He was the only one who was an adult. He was the only one that was right. Ellie was being annoying. Look, I'm not disagreeing with that. Jesse really was the only rational character in the show, and I agreed with everything he said. The problem is that they changed his personality from what he was like in the game. The fact that they felt the need to change his personality based on what Ellie is like in the game is the problem. He's not supposed to be the only adult. He's not supposed to be the only one that makes mature adult decisions. He's not supposed to be the only one that's capable and competent. Ellie is perfectly independent and capable. She's not a incompetent buffoon that is just stumbling across shit, being selfish and all that shit. Her selfishness in the game comes from the over-consuming obsession of vengeance that starts to consume her. Ellie's selfishness and recklessness in the game stems from her obsession and all-consuming cycle of revenge. It's an indication that she's spiraling out of control, because as the gamer, we know Ellie is the opposite of all of that. We know that Ellie, at her core, is selfless, compassionate, empathetic, and loving. So seeing her behave selfishly and recklessly is out of character. That's how we know that she is spiraling out of control. We know that she's not herself. That's how we know she's becoming consumed by vengeance. In the show, however, those selfish and reckless qualities are a part of her core, which is why it doesn't feel the same. There's no indication that she's spiraling in the show because she's always been selfish and reckless. So when Jesse scolds her, it is valid, but it shouldn't have had to be like that. If Ellie was written more faithfully and authentically, Jesse wouldn't have had to have been written as a self-righteous douchebag. I can't stand self-righteous people. To paint her that way in the show meant that Craig had to write Jesse as the only sane, rational character that would counter that, right? The problem is that he was talking down to her like a fucking parent to an insolent child, and it was just so unpleasant to watch. He's very moody and angry in the show. He's constantly blaming her for everything, and he's always bringing up how he's selfless and how she's selfish. Whereas in the game, he's not like that at all. He's actually very supportive of her in the game. He's more ride or die. He's the type of guy that would do anything for his friends. He never had to tell her that he was a good friend or a good person. He just was. He does challenge her perspective at times, but he did it in a calm and collected way. He was never being patronizing or condescending. He wasn't talking down to her like that. And he never blames her for anything either. He went to Seattle because he wanted to help her, not because he felt obligated to save her. She didn't need saving in the game. She was perfectly capable of taking care of herself. She was way more independent and capable in the game. And seeing their dynamic in the game and how it's more of like they felt more like homies. They felt like bros. They were each other's equals. They were both capable. They worked more as a team. He came off to me like a jerk in the show. There are people that retort that and go, he wasn't a jerk. I felt like he was the only one that was making sense in the show. Again, I feel like I have to repeat this because otherwise people are going to chew my ass out. I am not saying that he is wrong. I am not disagreeing with anything he said. Everything Jesse said about Ellie in the show was true. She was being selfish and reckless and careless. She only thought about herself and her own interests. But he was incredibly and insufferably self-righteous, constantly scolding her and guilt-tripping her, as right as he was in pointing out her faults. His holier-than-thou attitude is an incredibly unlikable quality and approach. I am saying that his approach to it, the way he says it, the fact that he has to be the only adult talking down to someone, that's the problem. Ellie shouldn't have to be talked down to. And that dynamic, seeing that, was not fun to watch. I didn't like it. Nobody's gonna respond positively to someone who's talking down to you. Like, what? It rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't like it. I didn't like Jesse in the show, and I didn't like the dynamic between Jesse and Ellie.
How did you find the theater?
Do I look like I want to fucking talk to you right now? You two were gonna die out here, so we snuck out the next night. It's a good thing we did.
You know what, we're doing pretty fucking good
Up until what? And I bet she even tells you things she wouldn't tell me. Like how she's pregnant.
Fuck. Oh shit, you were guessing? Look, she's obviously gonna tell you, so just act surprised, okay? None of this has to change things between us.
Everything changing doesn't have to change things. Well, how about this for something new? I'm gonna be a father, which means I can't die. But because of you, we're stuck in a war zone. So how about we skip the apologies and just go find Tommy so I can get us and my kid the fuck out of Seattle? Because I was taught to put other people first.
Okay, got it. So, you're St. Jesse of Wyoming, and everyone else is a fucking asshole.
You can make fun of me all you want, but let me ask you this, Ellie. I go with that girl to Mexico. Who saves your ass in Seattle?
Jesus Christ, if 3 more people had voted with you, you'd be coming with me.
I voted no.
Why?
Because everything you do for you. Ellie.
Oh my God.
Ellie, it wasn't in the best interest of the community.
Fuck the community! Thank you for coming back.
Maybe I didn't want to. Maybe Tommy made me.
What the hell are you doing here?
I think I'd let you do this on your own.
Jesse. Hey, how hurt are you?
I'll be okay. Your friends out there rushed me. No warning, no nothing.
Tell me you didn't come alone.
Give me shit about it later.
You're a fucking idiot. You know that, right?
Yeah. Right. See that truck?
That's your plan.
We need to get some distance.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
She had a rough night. Barely could get her to keep water down.
You should have woken me up.
Is she pregnant?
Yeah?
I get why you came out here. But we gotta take her back. She needs real care and she's not gonna get that.
Yeah, I know. I know. But I can't just leave Tommy. He's out here because of me. Maybe you could take her back.
She's not gonna leave without you.
Yeah.
Screw it. Let's get Tommy. This aquarium that girl told you about. Tommy hasn't found Abby yet. We'll post up there until he does.
And you're good with leaving Dina by herself?
Her orders.
Okay. Let's go tell her we're leaving then.
I'll just meet you up front.
Yeah.
I need to get clear on something. When we find Tommy, you're good with going home.
Yeah.
You'll be leaving some of those assholes alive.
Dina should be back in Jackson.
Okay. Good. You ever worried they're gonna come back to Jackson after us?
What do you mean?
I mean, we're going through a lot of their people. In their city.
Because of what they did.
Didn't Abby and her friends come to Jackson and Joel did?
This place isn't like Jackson. I mean, Joel and Tommy helped Abby when she got attacked. These people are trying to kill everyone around them. I mean, they shot you on sight, didn't they?
Yeah. They did. I just gotta ask. Why didn't she tell me about it? The pregnancy.
Listen, I'm sure she'll tell you about it when she...
Go Team Jackson.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
Couldn't have said it better. I would have come, you know, if you told me you were leaving.
I didn't think you'd be okay with all this.
I looked up to Joel. What happened to him was messed up. I would have come.
Joel liked you a lot too, you know. He used to think I had a crush on you.
Really?
I mean, you're handsome and whatever, but I'm not into your type.
What, Asians?
Yeah, that's obviously what I meant.
We can get to the marina through here.
No, we're taking a boat.
You heard them, right? They're talking about Tommy.
We don't know that.
Who else is it gonna be?
If it is him, he'll be gone by the time we get there. Abby is where he'll be headed, so if we just
What if he's in trouble?
he can take care of himself.
Jesus Christ.
The best way to help Tommy is to go after Abby. You do this, I'm not saving your ass again.
I really hope you make it. How you doing?
Fine.
Ellie?
Fine. Thanks for coming back for me.
My friend's problems are my problems.
You're such a sap.
All right, how about, my friends can't get out of their own damn way?
It's better.
Isaac, the WLF, and the Seraphites should not have been in season 2. I don't know why they added them in season 2. They should have been added in season 3 because they're not at all a part of Ellie's journey in the game. The WLF should only be shown as an enemy force that Ellie has to face. We shouldn't be getting any backstory on them until you switch to Abby's perspective, which is season 3. So when you encounter the Seraphites with Ellie, you know absolutely nothing about them. The Seraphites should have been introduced when Ellie first encounters them. So when Ellie first encounters them, that is your first encounter with them too, because that's how it plays out in the game. It gives more of an element of surprise. It gives more intrigue. It makes it more interesting because you don't know anything about them. Ellie doesn't know anything about them. Therefore, you as the viewer don't know anything about them. There's more mysteries. We're not supposed to know who they are, what their background story is, because that humanizes them. The minute you know more about them, they're being humanized, and you're not supposed to humanize them until you meet Lev and Yara in Abby's side of the story, which should be season 3. Like, when you first encounter the Seraphites in the game, they're kind of scary and creepy because, again, you don't know anything about them. You're walking through the woods, and then all of a sudden you hear whistling, and then you get shot with an arrow, and you're like, what the fuck? What the fuck happened? Who are these people? They're just hooded, creepy people with bows and arrows, and they hang and gut you, and it was more shocking that way. And to be introduced to them beforehand, it was just a bad idea to humanize them right away. They do not need to be in season 2. They don't belong there. They need to be introduced in season 3. One of the changes I didn't like about season 1 was shifting the Outbreak Year from 2013 to 2003. Like, that change has zero impact to the story. What was the point of it? Just to change it? Just for the sake of it? Like, it makes no sense. Like, if you make changes to an adaptation, if you're just changing shit just to make it different from the original source, that's stupid. Changes should add, or they should add to the story. They should add to the characters. And if it has absolutely no added value, what's the point of it? It's just pointless. I don't know what else to say about it. It just kind of bugged me. It was like, in the video game, you see remnants of the world. You know, smartphones existed in 2013. You had the PlayStation 3. When you're playing the game, you find old PlayStations in the game. You can't do that if you change the timeline to 2003. You have to, everybody's gonna have the Nokia phones. I don't know. I felt like that was a dumb change. It was pointless. The 3-month time jump drains the urgency of Ellie's revenge arc. Because it's like, in the game, she goes after them a few days later. Having it happen 3 months later. She did, okay, like in the show, she breaks her ribs, right? That's why it takes 3 months for her to recover. I don't understand why they needed to do that. Her ribs never break in the game. She gets kicked in and knocked out, but she doesn't get a broken rib. The Jackson Council meeting, I hated that scene. It was such a waste of time. You're wasting precious screen time having all these side characters, these fucking extras, talking about shit that, like, I don't know, like, that screen time should have been used showing Ellie getting ready and leaving Jackson, getting to Seattle, actually getting there and finding Joel's killers. And you're wasting time showing me a fucking council meeting with people just talking about this shit and not actually doing anything. That bugged me so much. It adds nothing of value. It undermines Ellie's emotional motivation. Her plea for revenge only hits hard if Joel was the sole victim, the sole death. But the addition of a larger attack dilutes the personal impact of his death. Having the whole town have a huge casualty with this infected attack on the town. Lots of people died. Well, now Joel's just another death. It's not an important death anymore. Why? Just because raiders came to kill? As far as the town knows, they're just raiders. But do you see what I'm saying? A lot of people praised episode 2 because it was action-packed and a lot of people compared it to Game of Thrones. Like, oh, this is the fight scene that they should have added in Game of Thrones. It doesn't belong in The Last of Us. It was unnecessary, and it didn't happen in the game. Again, I know that it doesn't have to be a carbon copy of the game, but the reason I have an issue with the attack on Jackson is because of that very reason. It minimizes Joel's death because now lots of other people are also dead. And so it dilutes the impact of his death. And that shouldn't be the case because Ellie is supposed to be filled with rage and vengeance. That's what motivates her to go across the country and seek these fuckers out, to seek revenge. And you, as the gamer, as the viewer, are supposed to feel that same rage with her. And so if you're minimizing Joel's death with the whole town's other family members' death, it minimizes that impact. It doesn't feel as urgent. It doesn't feel as impactful. It doesn't feel as motivated and fueled. And that's a problem. If you really want to feel what Ellie feels, if you really want to see this story unfold, the story of her beginning the cycle of revenge, this is not the approach. The Seraphite Island sequence where Ellie lands on the Seraphite Island and she gets almost hanged but then let go. The most pointless scene. And I don't care if it was an Easter egg from the game. Apparently it was a deleted scene from the game that they were going to have a chapter where Ellie lands on the Seraphite Island and shit, and they wanted to add it in the show because, oh look, it's a little Easter egg, what you would have and could have done in the game. I don't care. It adds nothing to the fucking story. It was literally pointless. Why add it in? It wastes precious screen time that you could have used to build up more about Ellie's revenge arc. And you're just, oh my God.
Fuck you, Owen. Hands up. Where's Abby?
You gotta be kidding me. Okay, easy. I'm the one who kept you alive, right? We don't know where she is.
You were just talking about her, so yes, you fucking do. You, bring me that map. You're gonna point to where Abby is. And then you're gonna do it in a better fucking match. You have 5 seconds. 4.
She's gonna kill us either way.
No, I won't. Because I'm not like you. 3. 2.
I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll show you.
Slowly.
Slowly.
Oh, God. Knife? Do you have a knife?
People don't come back from that island.
How many times has Abby risked her life for you?
She chose this. I'm not fucking going there.
Then don't! Go back.
Fuck you, Owen. Hands up. Where's Abby?
You're that girl from Jackson.
Tell me where she went. How do we know you won't kill us?
Give her what she wants and we're dead.
You guys can survive this. I just need her.
Bullshit.
You. Come here. Fucking get over here! Point to where she is on this map. And then you better fucking match up.
What are you doing?
She's probably dead anyway.
It is not worth it.
Stop!
We can talk
Back
about
the fuck up! Point to where she is. Fucking point! Tell me where Abby is. Where the fuck is she?
I didn't like how they handled Mel's death in the show. In the game, it's a devastating, defining moment when Ellie realizes just how far she's gone. The show undercuts this entirely by making it seem accidental, stripping away the gravity, the guilt, and emotional turning point that scene was meant to represent. Most of the deaths in season 2 were accidental, and that's a problem because you're taking away any culpability that Ellie has. When it comes to Bella Ramsey and all of the criticism and the hate that they were throwing in their direction, I am not a fan of that. I get where people's frustration was coming from, but I would never condone the things that were said and the things that they made fun of them for. It's low and it makes you look like a piece of shit of a human being. Just don't talk about people like that. It's not nice, and look, you can hate a show, but when you start attacking the actors, it's just, unless they're an absolute piece of shit of a human being, I do not condone the bullying surrounding Bella Ramsey. I will say, look, I think Bella is a good actor. I've seen them in other films and shows, and they're great in other works, but I do think that they were miscast for the role of Ellie. I don't think Bella embodies Ellie, but that's not Bella's fault, and that's the casting director's fault. You know, I read a comment somewhere that said, someone wrote that Bella doesn't come off as intimidating, and they felt that that was a necessary attribute to have in order to play Ellie, because Ellie is quite intimidating and scary in the game because she's like this ruthless, unrelenting, vengeful person, and Bella just comes off as a kid, an innocent, immature, impulsive, reckless kid, and it just doesn't carry the same energy or vibe that Ellie does. And I get where that person was coming from, and I do agree. I just think that Bella's version of Ellie feels too much like a kid. A lot of that has to do with the way the character was written for the show and the way that Bella was directed by the director. You know, it's the director's job to give notes to the actor and explain to them how they want that scene to be played out. There needed to be better direction, better writing, but even so, I don't think Bella was the right choice. I was open to the idea when they first announced Bella, and I was not mad at all when they casted Bella Ramsey. Before they announced Bella to be Ellie back in, whenever it was, 2021, I think, I wanted them to cast Caitlin Dever to play Ellie, but apparently she aged out of the role, which, that makes sense. It's true. She is in her late 20s now, and it wouldn't make sense to have her play a 14-year-old because it's just, she doesn't look 14 anymore. But Caitlin could have totally played Ellie for season 2. She carries that energy. She carries that vibe. I feel like she would have been the perfect choice. Some people wanted Kaylee Spaney, right? I think people wanted Kaylee Spaney to play Ellie because there's pictures out there of her in an astronaut suit and she has the same hairdo, and I'm just like, it doesn't make much of a difference because I think Kaylee Spaney is close to the same age as Caitlin Dever. I think they're similar in age. Either way, I've seen Kaylee in a few things and her performances are good. So I would have been fine with her playing Ellie as well. But my first choice was always Caitlin Dever. But it is what it is. What's done is done. Season 2 is done. There's only going to be a 3rd season. They're not going to make any more seasons after that. And thank God for that, because season 2 was absolutely atrocious. They shouldn't have done what they did with it. And considering Craig is going to be the only one on board working the show from now on, I just have a feeling that season 3 will be not great. Let's put it like that. It's just going to be not even close. He's probably going to deviate a lot, and the only thing that may save it or make it a little more palatable is Caitlin Dever herself and her performance, because as terrible as the writing and the directing is, her performance was amazing. She acted the hell out of that scene, and I'm not a fan of the monologue scene of Abby, but she did such a good job. And to think that it was an emotional time for her in her personal life because she had just lost her mother like 3 days before shooting that scene, or she had the funeral 3 days before shooting. That's horrible. And she knocked it out of the park. So I have to give her flowers. She is an incredible actress. I just wish she played Ellie instead. Again, not to knock Bella. I just don't think they're right for the role. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on the Bella Ramsey thing. So anyway, that's my rant. That's my thoughts on the show. Clearly, I didn't like season 2. I actually recorded my reactions to the entirety of season 2, but I never posted them. I don't know if I ever will. Will I watch season 3? I don't really want to, but maybe I will. I don't know. I guess I will, but I don't have hopes for it. I don't have any high hopes. I don't think it's gonna live up to the game. I don't think it's gonna top season 2. I mean, if Neil Druckmann and Hallie Gross are out of the picture and it's just Craig, I don't think it has any chance of surviving. That show is going down the gutter. I think Caitlin Dever's a great actress. I thought, although I didn't like the portrayal of any of the characters in the show, I thought the writing for the characters was terrible, but the acting was good. I thought Caitlin did an amazing job portraying Abby. I'll say this, if If you watched the show and you never played the games and you liked it, great. But I still recommend that you watch the video game on YouTube. You don't have to wait for season 3. You can find out what happens next right now by going on YouTube. It's free. You don't gotta pay a subscription to watch the video game. I promise you it's better than the show. I promise you you'll like it more than the show. The acting is better. And I'm not saying, I'm not saying Bella can't act, but Ashley Johnson, who plays Ellie in the video game, she's older and she's a more experienced actress than Bella. I mean, she is also she was a child actress and a damn good underrated actress. And Troy Baker, who plays Joel in the video game, phenomenal actor. And I'm not saying Pedro can't act, but Troy is like a legend. You can't deny it. I'm trying not to insult the actors from the show because their acting wasn't bad. It wasn't. But the acting in the games is so good. It doesn't even compare. It's like night and day. I implore you to just watch the video game if you haven't already. Obviously, if you played it or if you've watched it, great. You're one of the cool ones. But if you haven't, you don't have to play the game. Just watch it on YouTube. It doesn't even have to be my playthrough. Watch a playthrough with no commentary on YouTube. I'll possibly even put a link in the comments or somewhere. I will tell you, I will give you a direct access to the game. See it for yourself. You can compare and contrast the game and the show on your own, and you can come up with your own conclusions and opinions. Because I'll tell you this, I can't guarantee that you'll like the game, that you'll like the story of the game. The second game was incredibly divisive. It split the fandom in half. You either hated it or you loved it. And whether if you hate it or love it is neither here nor there, I will say that you will like the game more than the show. It is just that much better. There are even haters out there that hate the game that agree and say that the show was worse. And they're like, they're making the game look better. They're making the Just please watch the video game on YouTube. You won't regret it. I promise you. And if you hate it, well, at least you know. And then you could really avoid season 3. Well, thanks so much for listening, hearing me ramble. And I'll catch you in the next one, I guess. Bye.